War doesn't announce itself with a countdown clock on your TV. It starts with a flicker. The power grid stutters, your Wi-Fi drops, and suddenly, the invisible ledger of modern life, your bank balance, your brokerage account, your digital identity, stops responding. You pick up your phone to check the news, but there's no bars. You head to the ATM at the corner, and there's a line 20 people deep, staring at a system offline message. In the first 60 minutes of a major conflict reaching your zip code, the physical danger is only half the battle. The other half is the financial kill chain. While everyone else is panic buying bread and freezing in place, the first hour is your only window to secure your life's work before the gates slam shut. If you don't move in the first 60 minutes, your wealth could be locked behind a digital wall for months or forever. My name is Woof, and today, I'm giving you the financial bug-out protocol. 8 specific things you must do in the first hour to ensure that when the smoke clears, you still have a future to return to. The clock starts now. The second you realize this is real, you have 10 minutes to secure physical liquidity. In a crisis, digital gold is useless if the cell towers are down. You need paper power. If the ATMs are still breathing, you go now. Not to withdraw $100, you withdraw the maximum daily limit for every card in your wallet. But here's the part most people miss. Do not go to the big branch in the city center. That's where the crowds will be. Go to the grocery store, the gas station, or the pharmacy, and use the cashback feature on small purchases. You're looking for small denominations, 5s, 10s, and 20s. In a war zone, a $100 bill is a liability. Nobody has change, and you'll end up paying $100 for a gallon of water. You need trade bait. Small bills are the grease that keeps the wheels of survival moving when the banking system goes dark. By minute 15, the digital ghost phase begins. If the internet is still flickering, you have 5 minutes to download your proof of life. You need offline, PDF copies of your most recent bank statements, your brokerage holdings, and your insurance policies. Why? Because when the smoke clears and the systems reboot, glitches happen. Databases get wiped, records get lost in the chaos. If you don't have a time-stamped document proving you owned 10 shares of an index fund or $50,000 in a savings account, you are at the mercy of a bank's best guess. Download them to a local folder on your phone and a physical USB drive. If you have a printer, use it. In a Reconstruction era, paper is the only truth the bureaucrats respect. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's tactical. You need to log in and kill every non-essential autopay on your accounts. Your gym membership, your Netflix subscription, your premium cloud storage, cancel them all. In the first hour, you are entering capital preservation mode. You don't know if your next paycheck is coming. You don't know if the banks will freeze withdrawals tomorrow. Every dollar that leaks out of your account for a service you can't use is a dollar stolen from your survival fund. You are plugging the invisible leaks to ensure that every cent remaining in your digital accounts stays there until you absolutely need it for a life or death transaction. Now, you look at what you actually own that isn't a number on a screen. This is your hard asset inventory. Do you have physical gold or silver? Grab it. Do you have high-value trade items, tools, ammunition, antibiotics, or even luxury watches? These are your secondary currencies. In a prolonged conflict, the local currency often depegs from reality. Inflation can turn a stack of 20s into wallpaper in a matter of days. But a silver coin or a reliable multi-tool maintains its utility value, regardless of what the central bank says. You aren't prepping for a hobby. You are diversifying your survival portfolio into assets that don't require a power grid to function. If you hold crypto, the first hour is your last chance to ensure your keys are physical. If your assets are sitting on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance, they are not yours. In a national emergency, exchanges are the first things governments freeze to prevent capital flight. If the internet is still up, move your assets to a cold storage wallet immediately. If you already have a cold wallet, ensure your seed phrase is written down on paper and stored in your physical bug-out bag. If the grid goes down for a month, your digital wealth is only as safe as the piece of paper that unlocks it. Without those 12 or 24 words, your Bitcoin is just a ghost in a dead machine. This is a psychological move as much as a financial one. You need to accept that your credit score no longer exists in the first hour of a war. If you have to choose between paying your credit card bill and buying an extra month of shelf-stable food, you buy the food. Every time. Most people will freeze because they're worried about a late fee or a ding on their Equifax report while the world is burning. Don't be that person. In a major crisis, governments often implement debt moratoriums or payment freezes weeks later. But you need that cash now. Your priority is cash on hand, not credit on paper. You're protecting your family, not the bank's balance sheet. By minute 50, you need to secure your identity anchor. This is your passport, your birth certificate, your social security card, and your property deeds. Put them in a heavy-duty, waterproof Ziploc bag and keep them on your person. In a displacement scenario, your financial identity is tied to these papers. If you end up in a different city or a different country, these documents are the only way you can reclaim your accounts, prove your citizenship, or access international aid. Without them, you aren't a displaced investor. You're a stateless person with no way to prove you ever existed. This is the most valuable asset in your bag. But here's the hardest truth of the first hour. You cannot be the only person who knows the plan. If you are the financial commander but you're stuck at work, or the cell towers are down and you can't reach your spouse, your fortress has a single point of failure. Most families spend more time arguing about what's for dinner than they do discussing how to survive a systemic collapse. You need a financial fire drill. Tonight, you need to sit down and answer 4 questions that most people are too terrified to even whisper. First one, who holds the emergency cash? If it's all in one safe and only you have the code, your family is broke the second you're separated. Second question, where are the documents stored? Everyone in the house needs to know exactly which grab bag holds the passports and the deeds. Third, what happens if the banks close? You need a preset meeting point where you regroup if the digital world goes dark. And fourth, what if the internet stays down for a month? You need a barter tier, knowing which physical assets you're willing to trade for fuel or medicine. A protocol isn't paranoia, it's professionalism. In the first hour of a war, a family with a protocol is a team. A family without one is just a group of people panicking in different directions. The final 5 minutes of the first hour are won or lost in the mind. You have done the tactical work. Now you must kill the panic. Panic is the most expensive emotion you can own. It leads to bank runs where you get crushed in a crowd, or panic selling, where you dump assets at a 90% discount to someone who is calmer than you. Take a breath. Look at your financial bug-out bag. You have cash, you have documents, you have hard assets, and you have a plan. You are no longer a victim of the chaos, you are a manager of the crisis. The first hour is about positioning. The rest of the war is about patience. Most people will spend the first hour staring at the TV in shock. You spent it building a fortress. War is a temporary state, even if it feels eternal in the moment. The goal of the financial first hour isn't just to survive the night, it's to ensure you have the seed capital to rebuild when the peace treaty is signed. The people who lose everything in a war aren't always the ones who get hit by shells. Often, they are the ones who let their financial identity get erased because they didn't move fast enough when the grid flickered. You have the protocol, you have the steps. Now you need the discipline to execute them if that night ever becomes tonight. Because in a crisis, the difference between a refugee and a survivor is often just 60 minutes of focused action. The first hour is won or lost in the mind. Stay calm, stay positioned, and I'll see you on the other side.